Hi, and thanks for logging on to the Daily Dvar. And here's a brand new Halacha for you, and it's for Wednesday, the 11th day of July. We're going to continue on now with our laws about making a siyum during the 9 days. If you make a siyum during the 9 days, you're eligible to have meat, and that's why it gets so exciting, because otherwise you're having a dairy supper. Now here's the thing. Sometimes it happens that a siyum is arranged for a large crowd, like at a camp or whatever in the summer, and then it happens that a few people walk in late after the actual siyum was finished, and the oft asked question for them halachically is, can they partake in the meat meal since they missed the siyum? The short answer is yes, they could. The bottom line is that the meal that comes after the siyum is the Sudas mitzvah. It's the Suda that goes along with the great mitzvah of having a siyum. So if somebody didn't actually hear the words of the siyum because they just stepped out of the room for a minute while the person read the end of the Masechta, they're still eligible for the siyum because the whole thing is a Sudas mitzvah and they can join in with that. As an aside, I'll tell you that some Fleishik restaurants actually arrange during the 9 days that somebody makes a siyum every night at their restaurant at, let's say, 6 in the evening. They actually give them a free meal to help them be motivated to do that. And then they serve fleishiks the rest of the night at the restaurant, telling all the other customers, you're the extension of the siyum. If you want to participate in one of those, please speak to your rabbi first, because that could be called questionable. It's your rabbi should help you decide that. There, it's more like the restaurant is just overextending the trick of somebody made a siyum here at 6. You can order your meal, and you have nothing to do with them, and you're eating at 8:30. That's kind of strange. But if you're at a siyum and the camp is celebrating a siyum and you're part of the big meal that everybody's having, then you can usually, according to just about everybody, join in with the meal and eat meat along with them. I should tell you as an aside that the idea of having a siyum during the 9 days in order to not have meat, remember we told you yesterday that you should try to not have it artificially land during the 9 days, but if it really did come out during the 9 days, there are even some who would discourage it and say, well, okay, fine, have a siyum, doesn't have to be meat. You don't have to avoid the law of eating dairy during the 9 days. So speak to your rabbi about that too, because some people try to not have too many siyums during the 9 day. Otherwise you're using a loophole to kind of just avoid the law entirely, which is not in the spirit of what we're supposed to be doing during the 9 days. So check on that too with your rabbi about what he thinks about you making 2 or 3 or 1 siyums during the 9 days. Generally speaking, making the siyum during the beginning of the 9 days is more allowable than making it during the Shvua Shechal Bo Tisha B'Av. The actual week of Tisha B'Av this year, that would be the Sunday night before Tisha B'Av. That'd be so close to Tisha B'Av that a lot of rabbis would frown on that one. Whereas making it in the week before, which this year is going to be Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, doing a siyum on those nights is more lenient, and more rabbis will be lenient about making a meat siyum then. Speak to your rabbi about this matter. Don't just glibly arrange to go from siyum to siyum to siyum just to avoid eating dairy during the 9 days. You get the point. Thanks for logging on. Log on again tomorrow for more. Bye-bye.